Wherever you're joining us from, we got to take it from the top. Let's fight. 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 We're taking it from the top, good folks. We're taking it all the way from the top. We trust that you guys are good. We trust that you all are well. We're taking it from the top, good folks. That's where we're taking it from. We're taking it right from the top. Good to have you all on the live with us. Good peoples. Good to have you all on the live. Don't know what that was about, but we're happy to have each and every one of you on the live with us. We're fine up, as we said. We don't want to waste too much time tonight at all. We got a lot of ground to cover, folks. It's just that kind of show. It's just that kind of show. We thought we'd be early. We thought we had it set. But then the Jagabats, the trench crapos, the tadpoles, and the cricketers, good folks. Yeah. We're fired up. We're ready to go wherever you all joining us from. Who vex? We have to have a go at it. Who vex? Good to have each and every one of you here with us, good folks. Good to have you all here with us. Wherever you're joining us from, wherever you all are joining us from tonight, rock and come in. We got a fight card set. And folks, we got a lot of ground to cover, as we told you guys, those of you who are now joining us, we got quite a ways to go. Yep, we got quite a ways to go. Look at what we're covering. Biden and Trump in the news again. Biden and Trump. We can talk about them. Sunak in Great Britain. We can talk about what's happening with Sunak. We can talk about what's happening in the Cayman Islands. The people said we can dead. The scientists, them telling us that. If jumping through, we're not going to kill you, something will. Big auntie was knocked down, struck down, and died. We got an update on this matter. Folks, if the jumping through the window and broke your back, folks, there are other things coming. That's what the scientists telling us. They got other things coming, and some of that is what we're tracking, folks. But as we said, the opener, the same story. Folks, we know the whole thing. We know the whole thing. Room 104. Was it the things that happened? Was it the things that didn't happen? You know, that caused Big Uncle to succumb. Maybe folks was none of the above. Stay on Benjamin and Everil, Small and Penelope and all the other folks joining us. What was it? We got an update on that. Travis Chase, a journalist extraordinaire, sat down with our sister folks and had a long chat. We want to bring you some of that tonight. Our apologies, we can't bring you all of it, but certainly we can bring you some of it, folks. And her name is Kanisha Thomas. Kanisha Thomas sat down with the one and only Travis Chase and spoke about what transpired. We're going to have an update for you folks on the other side. But first, some of what Travis Chase sat down and spoke with Kanisha Thomas about that fateful day. Room 104. Take a look and take a listen.
Friday, when we entered the guest house, the receptionist told me I could go to 104.
Mm-hmm.
So he turned and asked me if I want anything to drink, if I want a beer.
Mm-hmm.
And I said yes. So he asked for 3 beer and 2 guineas.
Mm-hmm.
So I went into the room and he came in with the beer and the guineas.
Mm-hmm. The beers were for you, the guineas were for him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Whilst we sit on the bed. So while sitting on the bed, he started yapping with me.
Mm-hmm.
And he was telling me he was sick a couple of days.
He was sick?
Yeah.
With what?
He told me that he had acid reflux.
Mm-hmm.
And he told me he went at Best Hospital. Couldn't have done.
Right.
So he had to do it at Eureka Lab. And
right.
Spend a lot of money. And we was yapping and saying home is not stress and he ain't going through nothing nice but he said we're going to yap.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, we drank the beer and we went on to have sex.
Mm-hmm.
After having sex now, while going to the bathroom, I went into the bathroom first.
Right.
While bathing, he was waiting right at the bathroom door.
Mm-hmm.
And all I hear is blood up. When I look around, I see he lying on the toilet bowl, panting for breath. So I run out the bathroom, rubbed the towel, and I went to the receptionist and I said, come quick. He fall down. She said, who fall down? I said, the person I came in here with.
Mhm.
They should come in and she accompanied back me to the room.
Mhm.
And when we go in, she turned to me and she said, I gotta call the police and the ambulance. I said, no, don't do that. I can't stay. This my neighbor husband. And I started panic. And I went on to put on my pants and my bra. And I pick up my top and my phone and I jumped down the building and I ran away.
Why did you jump through the window? Why didn't you wait for the police?
Because I get scared and I didn't want to wait for his wife, his family come there and see me.
Mhm.
That's why I ran away.
So, you were saying that the hotel staff knew this gentleman well,
Yeah, because we go there a lot of
a
times.
lot of times.
This is not the first time.
So you did not kill this man. Y'all didn't have the fight in the hotel room.
No, I'm innocent. Now, if I go into the hotel voluntary with this man, why we had to fight?
Then you think that it was too much Guinness that killed him, or something else, probably?
I think that maybe the medication that he's using,
Mm.
he can, his body couldn't have taken the Guinness, and maybe that make it hard to take out.
It was not because of the high volume of the intercourse you think that may have caused his heart to give out or anything of the sort.
It could be,
It could be.
but I'm not sure. I'm saying maybe it's the Guinness that he used to.
Mhm.
I'm not
So he
sure.
was going to shower after.
Yeah, after we ready to leave, we now going to the bathroom. And I was in the bathroom bathing. He was outside waiting to come in the bathroom. And all I hear is bladder. He
Okay. So
fall.
so after I'm trying to understand something. After the intercourse, right? Was he normal after that?
To me, he was, yeah, nothing did happen to him. He walk and go to the bathroom normal.
Mm, mm. Was he panting for breath after or anything of the sort? Is this a normal
Mhm.
routine for him when the two of you
He
meet?
was normal, yeah, he was normal.
Mm,
But you could have seen his face, he wasn't well and true,
okay.
like you said.
So I didn't advise him after when you saw him, he wasn't well. Say, babe, hey, what? We can't do this anymore. You look sick. Go home, get your rest some other time. Mhm. You don't know. Okay.
Yep. Some of what transpired in room 104. Yep. Well, the postmortem results are back and they are telling us while the police investigation continues, Omar Ali died from a heart attack. The postmortem doesn't tell us if it's too much, if it's too little bit, or none of the above. But we do know that the postmortem results. Rena Cummins, Van Classic tells us heart attack was the cause of death of Omar Ali. We're following that, folks. Seymour George, Gwyneth Jones, Francesca Charles, Karen Bailey. We're following that. As we have more information, folks, you're going to have it. Heart attack. Scientists say we all going to die. We got a little time, though. We got a little time. Heart attack took Omar Ali. That's what we have. Heart attack. That's what the postmortem results are telling us. Around the world, folks, we bring it in. From around the world, chop. Trump said Biden disrespectful. Biden disrespectful. You see, even the graphics trying with me tonight. Biden disrespectful because Biden is not going to the coronation of King Charles III. He's not going. Right? Never mind. Trump vexed. Never mind. Biden has been invited by King Charles to a state visit, which the White House is telling us will happen soon. A state visit. And never mind, the American historians, they're telling us that traditionally, US presidents don't go to coronations. Right? But Biden rather, is scheduled for a state visit to the UK shortly. Trump vexed. Trump said Biden disrespectful. Drink your water, Trump. Drink your water. Moving on, folks. Michelle Obama has launched a food company. She has too many American kids consuming a lot of sweets. 70 pounds annually of sweet. According to the folks who know, U.S. children consume individually 70 pounds annually. And her company is aiming to reduce that, to lower the sugar content and improve nutrition in products aimed at kids. Respect and manners, pace and power. Michelle Obama, pace, trendsetter, go-getter. Yep, Hazel Chase and Irvin Dunn, a daily sample. The woman is launching her own company. What y'all can tell me? What y'all can tell us? We can't own nothing. Huh? We can't own nothing, people. Yeah, we want to wish them all the best. And this new venture, we want to wish them all the very, very best. That's some of what we're tracking, good folks. That's some of what we're tracking. Don't come wrong, be funny. And then we did say we got some things on Rishi Sunak. They got local government elections. They're probably already at the polls because I know they're a couple of hours in front of us. But the UK has local elections as well. Now, Sunak is already trying to downplay expectation. He says it's going to be a tough time for the Tories. Mayor, what's happening by RL? You vote yet? You're going to vote? All those folks who join us from Europe. Ayabo, you intend to vote? Do let us know how things are going at that end, folks. We want some updates. But again, Rishi Sunak, the Prime Minister of Great Britain, of the UK, he's already downplaying expectations. He says it's going to be tough for the Tories. You know, it's going to be tough for the Tories. We're following that. You know, June 12th, here we come. Who's going to be tough for? We going to know. Folks, let me advise you up front. I got a guest. I got a couple guests tonight. I didn't tell you guys. You see, I'm making up for that little false start. I got a guess. You're not going to be disappointed. You better share the live. You better smash that emoji button. We can dead, folks. We can dead. You know, scientists said that they have seen for the first time a star eating a planet. They're telling us they usually see this either before it happens or they see it after it happens. But they actually got the chance to see the very occurrence of the thing, a planet-eating star. This is what's happening in the cosmos out there. Again, the people telling me, scientists, they said they've never before seen this happen before. Well, they've seen it happen before. They've seen it happen after. You know, a star consumes a planet out there in our solar system, but they've never seen it during the process. They had a chance to do that. And you know what they're telling us? Well, brace it over now. Brace it over now. You know what they're telling us? Ann Nelson and all the other folks, they're telling us the same thing is going to happen to Earth. I'll begin dead. Yvonne Daly, Michelle McKay, that's what they're telling us. The same thing is going to happen to Earth, but it's going to happen in 5,000 billion years. That's a long time. You think the people can still let me there? You know, 5 billion years, I think it is. Yeah, not 1,000. 5 is going to happen. It's still a long time. Not like eternity for me, one. 5 billion years, the same thing is going to happen to Earth. A star is going to consume Earth. And then poof. No more courts bill. Poof. No more guilty share. And all the other jagabats and trench crappos. 5 billion years is a long time. Cheryl Castillo Edwards. Put your fears in order, folks. We got some time on beside though. 5 billion years. Earth will be consumed in the very same way. Yep, that's just some of what we're following, folks. That's just some of what we're following. And as we're there, folks, as we're there, I might as well tell you, yep, as we're there, we got the back channels. You know who got the back channels for us? Professor Shamir Ali. Always got the back channels for us and letting us know what's happening out there. Well, he's going to be talking a little bit of what's happening for Press Freedom Day, among some other things as well. You know, he's always on the international stage. Ears to the ground, served as our ambassador in Kuwait. Yeah, Professor Shamir Ali. He got the back channels for us this evening, folks. Take a look and take a listen to some of what he has to say to us tonight. He got the back channels.
Good evening. Namaste. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Greetings to listeners in Guyana globally. Today is World Press Freedom Day, and I'm wearing a special shirt in appreciation for the media, especially Brother Sherrod Duncan, all the media personnel, ladies and gentlemen in Guyana and globally. Well, for me, today is a both happy day and a sad day. Happy because we're celebrating this great day, and sad because 80% of the media reportedly is controlled by the government, because of the advertising dollars and the other pressures. The 20% fearless media persons, including Sherrod and the two ladies who were recently abused, are evidence of a new kind of attitude. In Today, Demerara Waves, G.H.K. Lal said, and I will read, press freedom in Guyana. Western diplomats, and when you said Western diplomats, it means America, Canada, Britain, European Union. That same four in August 2020, rip local politicians, repeat, rip local politicians, read the Riot Act. Any doubts as to what prevails in Guyana relative to the condition of the press should now be fully dispelled. That alone, ladies and gentlemen, if you take your iPhone and do your research, you will see that is the condition. Well, that's a problem. And my style is, we want the government to succeed. We all do, with abundance of blessings from Almighty. We do want it. So my style is, when there's a problem, I come with a solution, offer a solution. So hopefully they will. Well, PPP is in government for 26 of 31 years. President, His Excellency Ali, is only from August. They were there before. Well, the Guyana Patriot, in my book, irrespective of party politics, His Excellency Dr. Roger Luncheon. Remember that name. After every cabinet meeting, he will hold a media conference informing the nation, the media, not a selective group, not a chosen group, not a hand group, shush group, open to the media for questioning. That is a solution for us to bring back those I call the glory days. Not perfect, but it's better than what we have. Now we have the spin doctors. When I'm asked today, I said we have many Dr. Joseph Goebbels Jr. in Guyana, high-priced spin doctors in New York and in Guyana. Well, who is Dr. Joseph Goebbels? Do a research on your iPhone. He is known as the world's greatest propaganda of all time. Yes, Dr. Joseph Goebbels. And in my opinion, we have Goebbels 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, about 10 or more. So we need action, not the words. We need getting the words, highfalutin words. Reading the pretty pamper, prepared speeches, reading the speech. That's not what is needed. When the media persons themselves salute you and raise their voices and thank you, then you have arrived. The Lord said, not all those who say, Lord, Lord, will see the kingdom of heaven. Those words are in all the Holy Scriptures. So it's not what we say, it's what others say, their evaluation. Well, ladies and gentlemen, the big news today is the big energy conference in Houston. 40 persons, if you can see this picture. Only one government person, the CEO of Go Invest, and the chief investment officer. He holds two very powerful titles. And Guyana has so much more oil in abundance. What is happening? Oil going up and ministers' representation going down. Well, as a researcher, what happened last year? Last year, if you can see the picture, they had a minister, they had a foreign secretary, they had the Go Invest, and Ambassador Sarah. Uno, dos, tres, cuatro persons. Well. Dog bite Guyana? What's going on? Well, easy lesson, good for a dunce. You remember Barry Dataram? He's squealing like a parrot I hear in New York with evidence. You know about the iPhone in Miami and everything else that go? A message a day, a communication different every day, left hand and right hand in different bodies. I'm away, but I read and I get information. And what I do know, my back channels, this DEA, the CIA, and FBI have two files on Guyana. Their names are Operation Gold Digger and Operation Nimble Horse. And the ministers, I'm told in back channel from Guyana, are all trembling in their boots, are fearful that there will be a repeat of Miami. There's a long reach of the United States. It's not only the US airport, any airports, they're sealed indictments. I know from my back channel, I know the number. I'm briefed every Monday since 1994, not today. I've been briefed since 1994. Who in my circles know? I got the Medal of Freedom from President Bush one in 94, when only two persons of color were in that circle, General Colin Powell and your brother Shamir. Who knows knows. That is part of my achievements in America. It's on my website, the evidence, and it will be in my book. Nothing to hide, it's transparent. So they are afraid of it. And if they think by not traveling, it can be picked up in London. It can be picked up anywhere, even the direct flights to London. So I hope the ministers behave themselves and change. There's a better day tomorrow. Ladies and gentlemen, Guyana belongs to 6 races, 1 people, 1 nation, 1 destiny. Let us remember in this week of labor, 2 founding fathers, irrespective of what the spin doctors will say, Lyndon Forbes Sampson Burnham, His Excellency, and His Excellency Dr. Cheddy Jagan, and His Excellency Hubert Nathaniel Critchlow from the labor movement. In my books, those are 3 Guyana fathers, with all due respect. There might be more. Good night, all.
That was the back channels. What were those called names? For those who are going to be pulled in soon, rendition, to some dark cell in our suit around the world, nimble horse. What was the next one? That's what I heard. Back channels, folks. Nimble horse. Back channels. More visas to be revoked, folks. More visas to be revoked. Some of what we're coming with around the world, folks. Nimble horse was nimble horse for me. What was the other one? Yeah. Professor got the back channel, former ambassador to Kuwait, Professor Shamir Ali. Wears a number of different hats as well. Yep. The Cayman Islands, they got some problems in the cabinet. They got a coalition too. Folks, coalition governments are difficult. Share the damn live. Smash the emoji button if you believe that, and partner with us as well. And our brother here is finding out the hard way. The premier of the Cayman Islands, Wayne Pachon. Yep, they have some disagreements over a particular road contracts. Yep, and things are cracking at the seam. We can keep you all posted on that. Yep, violence happening, folks, in the Cayman Islands. Hold it together as long as you can. Premier Pachon, hold it together as long as you can. While that's happening in the Cayman Islands, good folks, Jamaica. In Jamaica, there are rumors of a cabinet shake-up. Minister within the office of the Prime Minister, he said it's not so. He says not true. But a lot of people saying differently. People got the back channels there as well. And they're saying they're hearing differently. Shake up in the Jamaican cabinet. Eminent, but again, minister within the office of the Prime Minister, he is saying it's not so. Robert Morgan is the gentleman. He's saying, folks, it is not so. He says not so. Yep, that's what he's saying. It is not so. Robert Morgan, is it so? We're going to find out. Time will tell. We only got 5 billion years. We got a little time. We got 5 billion years, folks. We're in the 592. We got a little time before it all comes to an end. We're in the 590. Y'all know once we meet here is what? Once we meet here is what? They're telling us, folks, coming soon. Coming soon. This is what they're telling us. Coming soon. We're going to have a new ambassador. They say Sarah Ann Lynch is going to be leaving shortly. So sad to see Sarah go. What shall we do? What shall become of us? We only have 5 billion years to find out. Yep, thank you for your service, Madam Ambassador. Thank you for your service. Yep, the next ambassador is impending. Yep. Sarah is to leave shortly. Back channels telling me that. Back channels telling us that, good folks. We can keep you all on board with the latest. We're going to keep you all posted to the latest. That's what I'm checking for. Yeah. Thank you for your service, Madam Ambassador. Thank you for your service. That's what the folks are telling us, back channels. You don't worry about nothing else. Back channel. Shortly, the folks are telling us. We see how a lot of things start. We don't often show you how it's going, but tonight, yeah. The folks who struck and killed, or the person, Selena Suklal, still on the run, police telling us. They're still hunting the person who struck down and killed this citizen of ours, struck her down on the road, killed her like a dog, and just drove along. Folks, you think you see everything in this country? Some people got some heart like peace, That's why one, got some heart like me, struck down. Big auntie like she was nothing, just kept on going. Just kept on going, still at large. That's what the police telling us. The perpetrator, you see, the killer driver, still at large. I hope to find him. I hope they found him. This happened along the Virginusian Public Road, folks. And Selena Suklal lost her life. They said she was praying. Something told the reports. She was in a kneeling position. Let me be accurate. That's what it said. She was in a kneeling position, struck down and killed. The person just kept on going. Right? Yeah. People got some heart. Crime spiraling. Anybody is at a risk. Crime is spiraling. People at risk. What Robson doing? What Robson doing? Absolutely nothing. Move out the way in a Robson. Move out the damn way in a Robson. Come on. Give somebody else a chance to make a difference. What Robson doing? Absolutely nothing. Absolutely nothing. He doing nothing. Folks, they're telling us a man, Early Manuel, was badly beaten. This is a mentally challenged man. Mentally disabled man. Differently abled. Broke into his house in Kurukuru. Broke into his house and beat him soundly. Bit off a piece of his ears. Even in an attempt to rob him. Folks, if this is what they can do with a mentally challenged man, a man who is differently able, what do they want to do with us? What do they want to do with us? Clive Jackson, Margaret Morris, Grace Noel. What do they want to do with us? Joe, Roger Boye. What do they want to do with us? Unity Lias. Imagine that. Bandits now moving with impunity. What is government doing? Absolutely nothing. That's on the ballot. That's on the ballot. And local government, absolutely nothing. The government is doing good, folks. Absolutely nothing. Look what else we're following. Look what else we're following. The wicked, stink, and dirty. Y'all know this. Y'all know this. Wicked, stink, and dirty. Wicked, stink, and dirty. Y'all know this. Look what we're following in the court today. High Court Judge Sudel Kasoon instructed ExxonMobil, get unlimited insurance now. Get it now. This government been lying to us. Lying to us. Not releasing the truth is the same as damn lying. They've been lying to us. Oh, they got a little bit insurance. They take out this insurance. They got that insurance. Judge Sudel Kasoon put a stop to all of that. Put a stop to all of that. This on the ballot too for local government. This on the ballot too for local government. And I think Dr. Vincent Adams is going to be stopping by in a second to talk to us a little bit about this. But look what Judge Sandil Kasoon said as part of this judgment today. And sing, take a look at this. Diane Graves, Andy, take a listen here. Look what Judge Sundil Kasoon said. The EPA, before and subsequent to the filing of these proceedings, but for a consequential order of this court. This is the judge, But for a consequential order of this court. The PPP refused. The PPP refused to disclose any information as to the status of compliance by SO with its financial assurance obligations, right? With its financial assurance obligations for pollution damage set out in condition 4 of the environmental permit, right? They refused to disclose what was the status of their compliance. The judge went on, folks. He said the agency sought refuge in silence. These are the people who come and tell us they love transparency. They love good governance. You see? They love rule of law. The EPA administered by the PPP sought refuge in silence, avoidance, concealment, and secrecy, notwithstanding the grave danger and consequences to the state and citizens if an event occurred at Liza Phase 1 petroleum production facilities. If they had an oil spill, we went in trouble. That's what they're just saying. And they sought refuge in silence. They didn't want to tell Guyanese people what was happening. They just tell them, you better go and get insurance. 30 days, get it now. Skin them up. Michael Reed. Sundil Kisoon, he skinned them up. It's their party y'all going over there. It's them y'all walking over for because y'all corrupt. Like them, they sought refuge in silence, avoidance, concealment, secrecy. Same people who like transparency, good governance, Gail. Same people. Same people. You instructed the oil company in cahoots with this wicked, stinking, dirty PPP. Get the insurance within 30 days. Yep. As I told you folks, we got Dr. Vince Adams standing by to give us some guidance on this matter. This guy is an expert. He, as a matter of fact, led the Environmental Protection Agency before these jagabats and did so credibly. When Scrapbook News tells you that Dr. Vince Adams should be reinstated to give guidance to this sector, you must know the quality of the man. He worked in the highest levels of the U.S. government. He is an oil and gas expert. Dr. Vince, right there. Dr. Vince, rock and come in.
Dr. Vincent Adams, thanks for being part of our program and a very good day to you. A big win in the courts today. You've been talking about insurance. ExxonMobil has said they got the insurance. They didn't have enough. They've been wobbly on the whole issue. The court has said definitively, this is what you must do. You'll know how to put it better for me. Unlimited insurance for the oil and gas sector. Get it done. Talk to us about that.
Thanks, Sharon. Of course, you know that I'm on cloud 9 within the last few minutes that I heard, and I'm sure most of the people, not only in Guyana, but in the Caribbean and Venezuela, ought to have now. This is the most fantastic news throughout all of the other stuff that has been happening, and this here is one of the most fantastic news that they could have received. So it's a victory. It's a major victory, like I said, not only for the people of Guyana, the people of the Caribbean also, and Venezuela, because this here was threatening bankruptcy if in the event of a major spill. But I guess as one of my friends was kind of joking with me, said, hey, probably the judge is just tired of hearing you every single day, So we here we are. But here, you see, I did my little part, but mine was just a small part, Sharon. When you look at the courageous people in Guyana, as you know, it's difficult for anybody to raise their heads in Guyana. But so when you look at the courageous people who've been sticking their necks out, the person who filed the lawsuit to begin with, my good friend Fred Collins at TIGI. You look at Melinda Janke; she's got some lawsuits pending, and then of course there's this Red Thread group of women who protest every single first Wednesday of every month in front of the president's office. Then there's OGGN. Today must have been the most rewarding day for the most rewarding protest day for the Red Thread folks. Because I think today was a planned day. I'm sure they're either out there now or they were out there earlier on. But this here is as one of my colleagues mentioned to me, he said, the wheels of justice may be turning slowly, but it is turning. So surely and slowly, the smoke and mirror act of this government is being exposed piece by piece. And that's all we can ask for. Sharon, I just want to remind folks how far we've come. It was only not too long ago, sometime last year, a few months ago, as you recall, the AFC brought this up in Parliament as a motion to do exactly what we're doing here. You know what? It was gotten rid of by the PPP. I don't even think they allowed it to come to any kind of a voting or anything. They dumped it. But it was Minister Patterson, well, or MP Patterson brought it up, and it was just dumped without any notice, just without any caring for the consequences. As a matter of fact, Exxon was so arrogant that Exxon, even when the motion came up, and I think a response to the motion was, Exxon said, which is something that I've been addressing, well, the costs have to be reasonable and acceptable and credible. I don't know, in a major spill, I don't know what would not be reasonable, what would not be credible, what would not be acceptable. And the most disappointing part of that, Sharon, is now the EPA is parroting that. That's what the EPA is saying in their narrative. And then they went and put it in this most recent permit, the urea permit. They put it in there that the cost has to be credible and reasonable. So they're parroting everything that the Exxon saying. But you know what the judge did, Sharon? You know what the judge did? The judge has sent a notice to Exxon that they do not come into our country to set the rules and the laws. They must come there and have to abide with our rules and our laws. They cannot, what they're getting away with in Guyana, they cannot do it in their country. They should not be, they're subjected to the same standard and expectations that they have to abide with in their country in Guyana. That's basically what the judge is saying. They can't come here to set our rules. They've got to live by our rule of law. And the rule of law was very plain. What was required, it was in the permit. Even the vice president himself said it's in the permit and they've got to abide with it. Except that the vice president and the government are so scared of Exxon that they just sing to the tune. It doesn't matter what it is. It doesn't matter how detrimental it is to their own people that they're supposed to be protecting. It's all about Exxon. Exxon calling the shots. The judge has decided that this country should have none of it. And that's what this ruling is about, Sharon.
Dr. Adams, let's talk about that for a brief minute. Here you have a court that is really and truly setting this contract on the path it was supposed to be on. And you said it. Here is a government who seem to be partners with Exxon more than regulators in the sector. But the judge seeing through all of that and making this definitive ruling, what should Guyanese, Dr. Adams, take away from this process?
Well, I know we all, and as I guess it's in the Guyanese DNA that we're very impatient. And we're not stupid people, because that's the other thing that I think that Exxon is misreading, except that they're being allowed to do whatever they're doing by the government. A lot of times, as hard as it is, a lot of times I don't even blame Exxon, because what Exxon is doing, Exxon is taking care of its interest. The problem is the government of Guyana is not taking care of of our own interests. As a matter of fact, and this is not politics, Sharon, it's a fact. The previous government was, when I was at EP, this requirement for full liability coverage, which means insurance and everything above insurance has to be covered by the parent company guarantee, which is Exxon. It's in the permit. When I was there with the past administration, it was put in there, and it's now in all of the permits. It's the law. And for them to have been blatantly breaking the law, it's not Exxon's fault. It's this government fault who's allowing them to break the law. But they never miss an opportunity to go after poor people, tearing down their little stalls that they, trying to eke out a living for, tearing down people's homes in Maka and other places, burying people, animals that are their livelihood, so that the ordinary people, they have no problems with going out there and arresting them and jailing them and everything. However, Exxon, who's committing the big crimes, they're afraid to go after them. So I don't even, a lot of times, like I said, as hard as it is, I don't even blame Exxon, because Exxon is doing what it's supposed to do in the interest of Exxon, but our government has been negligent. There is no question. And the judge has seen through that and said, no more of it, no more of it.
Dr. Adams, this was a specific litigation. Does this now affect all of the other contracts they're going to be part of?
Well, this here is a specific case, but there's a lot of similar cases in the pipeline. From Melinda Janke and others. Like there's several cases in the pipeline, especially Melinda's taking the lead of this, and that's why I said she's one of my heroes to protect the interests of the people of Guyana, because the government who's supposed to be doing that, they're not doing it. So other people in the civic society, they have got to be doing it, and so we've got to be thankful to them, Sherrod, and all of Guyanese, to the Caribbean. That I keep going back to the Caribbean, because this year would have impacted the entire Caribbean and Venezuela, by the way. So we've got to give them a lot of kudos. But it, in terms of impacting it, it's setting a precedence, by the way. And this here, remember now, Sherrod, this here is only for, guess what? It's only for the full liability coverage, again, which is insurance plus anything over above insurance, the parent company has to cover it. We still, there are lawsuits about flaring. There are lawsuits either pending or supposed to be coming on the dumping of toxic and radioactive water in the ocean. So this here has really encouraged people like myself and all the other folks who've been fighting for this. So this here is it's setting the tone. Setting the tone here, Sheridan, is very, very encouraging. It should be, it should make everybody's day. I know it's made mine, and I'm sure there's lots of people who are probably celebrating right now, because it's a big deal. It's a big deal. So it is going to set the tone in terms of precedent. This is just the first round of it, as far as I could tell, because there are lots more that are in the pipeline or in the works to get into the pipeline.
All right. And Doc, we want to say thanks for coming by and for sharing this information with us. Big congrats to you. And as you said, all of the other stakeholders, those of you who've been advocates for good governance in the oil and gas sector. Big congrats to all of you guys. Thanks again.
Yes, definitely. Like I said, I cannot thank the folks who are on the ground, the Red Thread woman, Melinda Janke, and now, my good friend, Fred Collins, who's filed this lawsuit. I can't thank you folks. You yourself, Sherrod, and all the other politicians who've been fighting for this type of thing. You guys are you're on the ground. You're the one who raging the battle, and on the front line, so to speak. I'm not there with you folks from time to time, but you're the ones, and we've got to put pressure, continue this type of pressure, because there's this arrogance and autocracy of this government that they believe that they're imperious, that nobody can get in their way to tell them what to do, and Exxon is just following suit. Here we've got, fortunately for us, we've got a legal system that appears to say, hey, you know what, that will not happen here. We are not going to allow it. So it's a big day for Guyana, all of Guyanese, and all of the Caribbean and the Venezuelans.
Excellent. Thank you very much, Doc. Thanks again.
Okay, thanks, Sharon.
Thank you, Dr. Vince. Only Dr. Vince could speak with such clarity because he studied this issue. He's qualified. Not a bogus doctorate and so on, Expert in both oil and gas, petroleum, expert. Thanks, Dr. Vince, for coming by. Folks, we got to close. We owe you all some time because we have a little snafu when we started. And it was so nice to have you guys here. We had to do it twice. Start the program twice. We got, folks, another guest. If you don't go nowhere, we got a couple minutes left. We give you all back the time. We given you all back the time. We couldn't go without offering a word on local government election as we do now every night now that the campaign has started. You know, some guidance, some information, what's happening with local government elections. We're in the throes, just like the Britons, of local government election, folks. And look, surprise! Ping, 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 ping. I did tell you I have a couple guests coming by. There's the fellow who knows. Jagdeo is a pathological liar. Leader of the PNC, Mr. Aubrey Norton, is leading the charge nationally on local government election. Leader of the PNCR and also the leader of the opposition, Mr. Aubrey C. Norton, is here with us this evening. Folks, we want to pick his brain on some of what is happening on the local government election front. It's we there. Hope the election don't fail. I hope it don't fail. It's we there, good people. It's we there. It's the thing there. It's we there. It's we there. It's we there. Leader of the opposition, Mr. Aubrey Norton, and also leader of the People's National Congress Reform. We are in the middle of local government campaigning. The heat is on. Give us an overview of what is happening with the local government campaign on a national level.
Well, first of all, we are organized, like I said, first of all, to ensure we maintain our strongholds. We are well organized in those areas. We are organized in virtually every NDC, though not all. And those campaigns are going okay. They're going fine. We're in touch with them. We have given guidance on how we campaign, etc. And we believe that this local government election will be won on the ground. And so a lot of the focus will be on groundwork. Your quality of candidates also matter. We have focused on that. And so we are optimistic that we will maintain our strongholds. And in some areas, we are going to make some advances on the PPP's base. I'm one who don't believe the PPP is as strong as they claim. I'm aware that they are not participating in many constituencies, but you know, in the nature of Barry Jagdeo and his style, he will go on as if they are participating everywhere when that is not true. But we are focused on winning those areas that we win. There are many groups that are participating. We support many of them. We support them, though they are not APNU groups. We believe, and we have said this from the inception of local government in 1994. People forget that in 1994, while the party fought in the main towns, etc., we supported a lot of groups in other areas. And so we still believe that there is space for citizens groups to emerge and to do the work. Local government is about ordinary people and people generally. And we have over the years argued that we should depoliticize local government so that the people could become involved and make the decisions. Of course, we haven't acted totally to do that, because if you lose citizens group against the PPP in Georgetown or in Linden, it will be a totally different ball game. So while our overall objective is to have the depoliticization of the local government structure and get people to involve more as ordinary citizens than political operatives, that is our long-term objective. But as we pursue that, we are cognizant of the nature of the beast we are dealing with. And so we will go it in phases.
Let's pick up on that note of this pretense of the PPP that they are so strong. Let's look at it historically. This is a party that didn't even like local government elections and didn't have it for a long time.
I don't think they even like it now. I think they believe they have the resources to bribe their way through. I think they believe they have the 10 days workers that they could intimidate. I believe they think they have the police, but they know they have the police under control. So they will use the police to harass people, as we have seen in Linden, we have seen in Georgetown. But they have no interest in local government. Their interest is in domination and control. if they had interest in local government, in their approach to the single window, they would have created space for the local government institutions. But they failed to do that. So the interest is not in local government. The interest is in domination and control. And if you follow the second vice president, Jagdeo, first he was saying, oh, we'll beat the APNU in all these areas. We're going to take Linden. We're going to take Georgetown. Now suddenly say he isn't commenting. He's waiting on the outcome. The PPP is not as strong as people perceive. They believe that money alone can do it. We know that organization and contact with the people and pursuing the people interests is your best option. We're doing that. And we're not sidetracked by Barrett Jagdeo and all his utterance. For instance, I mean, the man is such a clown. When this bill about the intelligence unit came out, I said that we believe there's need for a unit, but we have concerns with the bill. He runs off to say that I am not knowledgeable that they had a intelligence body in place. Well, they had one under the APNU, and no country runs without an intelligence body. What we are objecting to is one in which there is total domination and control by the PPP and the president. And more so, this is dangerous at a time when the police commissioner is a pawn of the PPP and taking whatever instructions. Because in this local government elections, a lot of reports have been made about forgeries and fraud. And if this police was operating in the interest of enforcing law and order, there would have been charges brought against those persons. But the police isn't interested in that. And so let us not be carried away by the utterances of Barrett. What in essence is the reality, they don't believe in local government. And even in the management of the country, they do everything to override local government. They use the REO against elected councils. They use the overseer against elected councils. And even some of the PPP councils are objecting because of the high-handedness of Dharamlal and Barra Jagdeo. So we need to focus and recognize that they don't like local government. We will do what we have to do. But even as we do what we are doing, we will continue to challenge the existing situation. We filed some legal action already, and we will proceed to do some more so that we keep the PPP under check and in focus for the fraud and corruption that they're involved in. They are mounting this Commission of Inquiry report. But what they're not saying is one of the most fundamental points made by the COI is that this election commission cannot deliver free and fair election because it is politicized. And Claudette Singh has lost all semblance of decency. I mean, look at this case with Bel Air Woodland and Wakenham that Vincent Alexander wrote about. Here is a case of clear forgery. You claim you can't do anything about it. But then the PPP minister goes to Wakenham, coercing people to come off of the APNU list. You had already issued the documents to accept the list, but then you reverse them to satisfy the wishes of the PPP. So it is obvious that Claudette Singh has compromised herself. She has to do everything the PPP asked her to do. And the only thing she isn't doing is the decent thing and resign. But we are in a position where the Elections Commission is in no position to deliver credible elections. And the only reason we are involved is because we know they have no moral compass. We know they are not decent. And any space that is left open, they will take it and use it against the people of Guyana. And therefore, we are on two parallel tracks. One to make them accountable at the legal and other levels, and one to participate to fill any vacuum that will emerge or has emerged.
Mr. Norton, on the same note of the pomposity of the PPP, here is Mr. Jagdeo talking about them having, backup candidates and excessive candidates.
but they're not even contesting in all constituencies in Georgetown, for instance. I mean, like, what is happening here?
You look, Barra Jagdeo is a pathological liar. You have to give Barra Jagdeo credit for looking at facts and just lie and seek to come over as some serious person who has facts at his disposal. His main quality has been the ability to lie in a barefaced way. And so him going on about him contesting all over, etc., is in keeping with his character trait. He is a pathological liar. He is someone who will watch reality and seek to change it. If the Vice News documentary in which he stuttered when he was asked about Sue, he is prepared to, in the light of all the evidence of alleged fraud and corruption, operate as if nothing has happened. Then you understand the nature of the man. Barra Jagdeo is a weak person. And I tell you why he's weak. He's weak because he doesn't debate issues. He lacks the intellectual capacity to debate issues. And invariably, because he lies so much, in a debate, he will be proven to be a liar. And so that is one weakness. The second weakness is he can only operate with power. He is not the kind of person who can operate if he's not all powerful. And you see that in the PPP. He has virtually killed every other opinion in the PPP. The only thing that matters is Barra Jagdeo. If you look at his press conferences, it's like his ministers don't have portfolio. Where we would bring somebody to talk on local government that is responsible for local government and somebody to talk on oil and gas, every portfolio in this country is controlled by Barra Jagdeo. And he talks as if he is the omnipotent when it comes to ideas about these things. And the truth of the matter is, this is a man that has failed. He has not one project that he can point to in which he was successful. He messed up Skeldon sugar factory. He messed up fiber optic cable. He messed up Enmore plant. Even the roads that he would have built, they don't last any time. So he is really a waster of Guyanese money. The Suez-Linden Highway was built in 1968. For the longest while, we have been trying to get it rehabilitated, but he wouldn't. And then he argues that there is no discrimination. This is the kind of bare-faced chap that we are dealing with. And so I am not worried. We will continue to do our work. We're on the ground. Barra Jagdeo knows full well that in his constituencies, people are rejecting them. And that is why he is running into the Afro-Guyanese community. That is why he is coming over or trying to portray that he will win Linden, Georgetown, and New Amsterdam. The worry here is that it might be preparing the conditions to rig. So when the rigging occurs, they're in trouble. But I know of cases in Georgetown where they are now having some of them, the candidates, asking people to go out there to see who they can pay to get support from, because as they go around Georgetown, they are being rejected. We expect that they will be beaten in all of the key strongholds. We will increase in areas of PPP stronghold. And I think by the end of these elections, you will see, it will be obvious that the PPP is not as strong as they try to suggest.
There's another aspect of this very conversation that a lot of folks on social media have been pointing out that as you talk about them bribing people and all of that, it seems to be you can rent a counselor now, because one of the things that people point to is a lot of the people on their list seem to come from elsewhere. Trisha Richards, Chase Green, Malcolm came from, you know, someplace else. This fellow, Mr. D. Ramos, I think it is, came from someplace else. Where are these new people, you know,
Well,
that they are attracting, really new people?
well, first of all, they cannot attract credible people. They will attract people who going after money. And many of them tell you, look, we got to live. We can make some money. And so they will go after them. But that doesn't make them committed to the task and make them go out there and work. What we have are people who are committed to our people, committed to the task, and they are out there working. Money will attract people, but it can't make them produce. Now, the PPP in this local government should recognize that a lot of the persons who they have are not influential persons. While we believe these persons have a right to go to which political party they want to, and we have no problem with them, while we believe the PPP has the right to recruit whoever they want, we've seen in Linden they have recruited deportees. We have seen in Linden they have recruited men who they themselves issued bulletin for wanted men. A lot of the people they engage are people who need the protection from the law. And so those persons go to them solely based on the fact that they are not likely to get charged for crimes they commit once they're in the PPP. And so we have to understand in that process what Dr. Jagan would have said to Barra Jagdeo is be careful, you're mobilizing the lumpen proletariat, and there are dangers in mobilizing the lumpen proletariat. The lumpen elements that are in the PPP are just that, lumpen elements. We do not believe that they can influence the outcome of the elections. And so, again, we are not worried. We'll do our work. Our candidates are credible. The PPP could bribe whoever they want. It doesn't allow them the opportunity to get their votes.
Yeah. You know, the question has to be asked, why is it, and I know you've studied political science, you've taught the subject matter, you know, the PPP can only seem to attract a certain kind of candidate. That aside, the son of the one of the founders of the PPP, Dr. Joey Jagan Jr., makes a point in this morning's newspapers that if you want Georgetown to really take off, the first thing you got to do is dismantle the whole Ministry of Local Government, you know, under the stewardship of Dharmlal. I mean, Joe is a fairly bright guy, but says that they're part of the problem. You know, they're part of the problem.
Well, they're part of the problem. I've already made the point that they don't believe in local governments. And secondly, because they're a party based on domination and control, they cannot create space for local entities to operate. And then you put a nut like Dharamlal. When you put a nut like Dharamlal, you're virtually saying to local government, you must fail. But there's a characteristic of the PPP we must note. They seem not to have confidence in anybody they put in a ministry. Everything goes back to the president and the vice president. This diplomacy unit that they're talking about, foreign diplomacy unit. Now, the first thing is, while we believe people should be employed, it's a manifestation that the Minister of Foreign Affairs would have failed. The very things that they identify for this unit to do is what the Minister of Foreign Affairs should be doing. And to the extent that they have now to go and put a unit to do it, it becomes obvious that they don't even have confidence in the Minister of Foreign Affairs. And so they are now trying to recruit people who can help. But then it also points to another dilemma. Why didn't you put them in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, where the architect? So the office of the president is becoming the center of everything. Man and mission is like taking over social protection ministry. Now you have the diplomacy unit taking over the Ministry of Foreign Affairs function, and it continues. And even when you look at the president's outreach, you're not seeing the technical people from the ministry being involved so that you can say, well, the ministry is involved. What you're seeing is directives being given. And when you go to people after that, they don't succeed because they still have to end up at the very incompetent minister and whatever ministry he's running. So the PPP is running around in circles, and their incompetence is obvious. Their divisiveness is obvious. You only have to watch Labor Day. If you believe in one Guyana, if you believe we should be united, why are you inviting some trade unionists to breakfast and you're not inviting some? And while you're trying to disrupt the route that the trade union apply for and trying to direct them in another route, and why is it that you are encouraging FITOG to go in its own direction and the TUC in their own direction? And that is why everybody is saying One Guyana is just a slogan. Apart from the fact that it is not original, the PNC ran in 2006 as PNCR One Guyana, where we brought into focus One Guyana. Now we are talking about a people-centered development and identifying the elements of it. The president is now saying that they're people-centered. But if you are people-centered, then why is it you are not increasing the workers' wages in the way they should? We have long called for a minimum livable income, and the government can do this survey and pay that minimum livable income. In my budget presentation, we identified 20 plus measures to deal with poverty, and the government doesn't have a poverty strategy. We identify about 8 to 10 measures to deal with the high cost of living. We even pointed out that you cannot continue to focus agriculture in regions 2, 6, 2, 3, 5, 6, and parts of region 4, because you will not solve the problem. We said that there should be an agricultural program for every region, which is aimed at making those regions self-sufficient, which will mean that they are producing a lot of what they need to consume, and they will cut out the transportation costs, etc., by plane and boat to get things into the interior, etc. But the government is not serious about the development of people. They want to continue to dominate and control through agriculture. But if they take a holistic approach to agriculture and take the people interest in terms of bringing down the cost of living into consideration, then they will have a totally different approach. And the government seems not to understand that to the extent that you have oil and gas and ExxonMobil is here, there will be the demand for more of these products. And if you have the same capacity to produce that you had before Exxon, and you don't increase the capacity, almost immediately you will produce shortages. You will produce scarcity, and scarcity will result in an increase in price. And an increase in prices will affect the working class, and it will contribute to an increase in poverty. We have outlined a holistic approach which says, let us have sustainable agricultural development projects in all regions, meaning regions like Region 1 will now increase their production. Region 10, which the government stifles, we were doing the road to the Berbice River, which they virtually stopped. That would have allowed produce to come out from the Berbice River, service Region 10, and bring down the price. But they are comfortable with people driving from the quarantine, going to Linden to sell their products, rather than developing a program that will allow each region to become agriculturally sustainable and can contribute to the reduction in cost of living, etc. And this is the other thing. Barra Jagdeo doesn't talk about policies. He doesn't talk about programs to bring down cost of living. What he does is lift to his middle name abuse. That don't solve our problems.
Mr. Norton, you talked about the no confidence you have in the chairman of JICA. I want to circle back to some of those issues. Have we been witnessing the rigging, as it were, of
not only the local government elections 2023, but that election, general and regional, to come in 2025. We've seen the missteps of GCOM. We have seen the gerrymandering of the boundaries. We've been seeing them trying to get their man and woman in certain key positions. We've seen the chairman of GCOM set up this post for the operations manager, and now appointed the same person to DCU. We're seeing a number of things. Are we heading down that road?
Well, I believe ultimately we will get a clean voters list and biometrics. We just have to continue to struggle. Look, let me tell you what the PPP is trying to do. The PPP is trying to force widespread protests. And then in the normal style, they will arrange for one ethnic group to be beaten. And then they will blame it on the APNU. And then they hope that that will bring back the supporters they are losing. We have to take them on skillfully and don't afford them that opportunity. Because as you go into the communities and you follow Facebook, etc., you're seeing a lot of who previously were their support base are now dissatisfied with them, and they are not going to support them. Not saying they will necessarily support us, but they're not going to support them. So the PPP is on a drive to get back those people. And the historical way they used to do that was when there were protests, they beat people. The man who used to organize it is now not there, but you know, they got the new PPP bulldog, for the want of a better word, Kwame. And so they hope to do that. Now, we have got to avoid that. But we have to continue to bring pressure to bear to ensure that essentially we get what we want. We have begun the protests, the picketing of GCOM. We are aware that people are being motivated to take on the PPP. We see this as a first step in terms of preparation of the rigging machinery for the national elections, and we will have to challenge it all along the way. In our preparations, we are preparing to be able to scrutinize. It is easier to scrutinize what is happening at the local government level. It is not that easy at the national level. And so our position on the elections at the national level will have to be taken into consideration the extant situation at the time, because we do not see one GCOM delivering credibly elections. And even if you get a clean voters list and biometrics, you still need to have an independent GCOM. So there has to be action to ensure that there is an independent GCOM as well as a clean voters list and biometrics. And clearly, Claudette Singh cannot be the person. And she should do the decent thing and resign.
So, Mr. Norton, I'm certain you would have seen by now a piece of footage that is circulating with former president, now General Secretary and Vice President, actually advocating for a clean voters list, as you're advocating for, actually advocating for biometrics, as you're advocating for, among some other things. We have a complete turnabout now. Here is a look at that video. Here is a look at that video.
We need to make sure that the list is cleaned up so that people, the abuse that we had, where when you had sympathetic presiding officers to the opposition, allowing people who should not have voted to vote because they had extra ballots for people who had migrated and were or are dead in the polling stations, that if you have a new clean list, that will minimize that happening because they would not have the ballots in the polling station. Secondly, we need enhanced biometrics, because when some presiding officers said, like we had some cases in Victoria, this is Mr. X, just looking at the photo, and the polling agent from the party sits across the room or is in a hostile area, is afraid to object, they allowed a number of people to vote who should not have voted. But if you have biometrics, enhanced biometrics outside of just a photo ID, it could minimize that happening.
Mr. Norton, haven't seen that video. What is your response?
Again, I've already pointed out that Barry Jagdeo lacks a moral compass. He has no sense of decency. Here is a man who would say, when it suits him, we want a clean voters list and we want biometrics. We began the process of house to house to clean the voters list while we were in government. This same man went to court to stop it when he thought he had gotten Mercury and a number of international support to be able to do what they did in the last election and be installed in power. Now that he is installed in power, he's not prepared to do the very things that he would have said. But that is expected of Barry Jagdeo. I don't believe people in the PPP believe anything that he says. And so I would say it is a normal course for somebody like Barry Jagdeo. He said he was going to renegotiate the ExxonMobil contract. When he got government, he says he was to put in place the Petroleum Commission in government. He isn't going to put that. You know, Barry Jagdeo is just, how do I put it? Someone who really and truly is bad news for Guyana. But unfortunately, he wields power in one of the main political parties, and many of the people in that political party is afraid to even challenge him. So we will have to challenge him and continue to expose the fact that he is two-faced, if two is the limit. And so I don't think the Guyanese people expect anything better from Barry Jagdeo.
As we wrap up, Mr. Norton, these elections are imminent. We know you have your challenges with the system as you have outlined here. What do we tell the people to get them out to the poll? This is the reason why. What's on the ballot in this election?
A lot of things are on the ballot. First, we must see local government elections is not a good yardstick to judge popularity in Guyana, because the indigenous communities don't vote in these elections except at Lethem and Arnaputa, etc. There are many areas that are not going to be involved. But there are many municipalities and NDCs. And one of the things must be on the ballot is whether people want to be controlled by the PPP or they want genuine local democracy. If they want genuine local democracy, they must not vote for the PPP. First thing on the ballot. The second thing on the ballot is cost of living. In any NDC, in any municipality, the cost of living affects you. Why should you vote to support at the local level people who are oppressing you at the national level, who refuse to put in place measures to deal with cost of living, who refuse to put in place measures to deal with poverty? So that also has to be on it. And then discrimination. I cannot see why Londoners should vote for the PPP when they know 90% of the contracts go out to Linden, and when in Linden only to PPP people. So this whole question of discrimination is on the ballot. Unemployment is on the ballot. I say to people, take the 40 or 50,000 for the 10 days, but you can't live with 10 days work. Plus the government is using it to manipulate you. Go and vote and ensure they are not in charge of these municipalities and localities. The government has an obligation by law to give communities their subvention so that they can do the work in the communities. The government refuses to give some, and when they give, they want to direct. When you vote in these local government elections and you vote against the PPP, you are voting for the people in those NDCs to get their subvention, get their assistance, and decide what is best for the people and do it. So I think the local government election is an important element, but it has to be linked to the issues at the national level, because we are a unitary state and a lot of the resources to be allocated for local government are allocated by central government, and central government should be sent the signal that we, the people on the ground, want to govern ourselves and not be dictated by Darren Malal, who has no vision for local government, who is visionless generally. So there are a lot of issues that will have to be addressed in local government and taken into consideration. Do you want a local government commission that is dominating, removing from you the right to employ your people? Do you want a local government commission that is basically dominating and controlling municipalities rather than allowing their freedoms? On this ballot is democracy and the rule of law. The government does not live by the rule of law. The government is not a democratic government. It's an authoritarian government. Some of the bills they are bringing to Parliament showing you clearly how authoritarian they are. And so the question of good governance is on the ballot as well.
Mr. Norton, I want to thank you so much for spending this time with us. I know you have a very busy schedule, and we want to thank you as well for bringing clarity to these many issues. Thank you.
Thanks a lot.
Want to keep getting the best in the ring? Yes, you can help us to keep going by partnering with us through your contributions. And it's easy. Send us a daily, weekly, or monthly donation, whichever is most convenient to you. Cash App at $in-the-ring592, Zelle and PayPal in-the-ring592 at gmail.com, or WhatsApp us on 627-6963 for how to contribute via MoneyGram and Western Union and for MMG payments. Want to keep getting the best in the ring? Yes, you can help us to keep going by partnering with us through your contributions. And it's easy. Send us a daily, weekly, or monthly donation, whichever is most convenient to you. Cash App at $in-the-ring592, Zelle and PayPal in-the-ring592 at gmail.com, or WhatsApp us on 627-6963 for how to contribute via MoneyGram and Western Union and for MMG payments.
That's the last bell, folks. Thanks for staying with us. We really wanted to get in some questions, and then we started a little late. We had a false start, and so we give you all back your time, then some. We give you back your time, and then some, folks. This is what we have a passion to do. Kurt Heidekin, Wilma Grant, and all the other folks. And this is why we asked you guys to partner with us. We just showed you how you can do that, so we can bring you more credible and valid information, folks. An hour and 22 minutes we have been on, folks. An hour and 22 minutes. Please, folks, partner with us as well. And if you need a good commissioner votes to affidavit, you need a justice of the peace. You need a justice of the peace. Folks, get all the answers you need, of course, with the Alistair Collins firm. A fantastic commissioner votes to affidavit, a justice of the peace. They provide expert guidance for all of your support. They provide expert guidance, rather, and support for all your documentation needs. And they're open Monday through Saturday down there at the Callion Mall between Camp and Waterloo Streets on Lamaha Street. The Callion Mall and Lamaha Street between Camp and Waterloo. 649-6410, 649-6410, 685-6448, 685-6448. That's our time, folks. That's our time, and that's our program. We really want to thank you guys for staying with us. That was the last bell. As you leave, folks, share the damn live, smash that emoji button, good folks, and let's have a go at it. Good to have you, Neon Harding and Yvonne Daly, Ramon Leander, Hazel Chase, Alison Cortez. You'll have a fantastic night's rest, good folks. Michaela Andrew Coates, good to see you there, and all the other guys joining us. Tony Fraser, I see Troy Fraser, Michaela Andrews, Yvonne Daly, Heather Rowe. Heather, how you doing? Good to see you after a little while. While Phil Laundry, Carmen Bailey, and all the other guys. Pace and power. That's our time, folks, and that's our program. Wherever you're joining us from, thank you so much for being a part of our community here. That's the time, that's the program. We say share the damn live. Smash that emoji button. Folks, partner with us as well so we can keep on keeping on. You heard the last bell already? Folks, that's it. Stay safe.